Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Yes. So, how are you all?
Fine, ma'am.
Fine, ma'am.
Very fine.
Yes.
But that's not evident on some of your faces. All right. Did you go through the definition?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Amal Roshan is telling me yes for all the questions I'm asking today. Can you tell me the definition, Amal?
Psychologists define formally as a science
Hmm.
which studies mental processes, experiences, and behavior in different
In different context or context?
context.
Context. Very good. So, psychology is formally defined as? What is it, Malavika?
Psychology is defined as a science that studies mental processes, experience, and behavior in different contexts.
You missed one word. Which was it, Sandra?
Psychology is formally defined as the science. It studies about mental processes, experiences, and behavior in different contexts.
You missed the word formal, Malavika. It's suppose if we miss the word formal in the definition, then it's like anybody can make up the definition. It becomes an informal thing. But here we are learning a formal definition of psychology as a common thing, as a common definition. Otherwise, it will be something like last day we did an activity. No, we tried to define that particular thing that we saw on the board. So that those were informal definitions. We all made up some ideas. We put in our efforts and thoughts into a particular definition. But that's not this thing. This is in our textbook, in our syllabus, and we are commonly following a particular definition. So it should be important. It should be noted that the formal word should be there. Okay, that's not a big mistake. I'm just trying to make my point. Fine. Yes. So you remember the symbol psi?
Psi is a sign.
Psi is a sign. Yes. You know to draw the symbol, Amal. Yes. I showed you on the board, no? Last day. This one. Oh, this is horrible. Just a minute. Somewhat like this. That's a psi symbol. Okay. Now, before, we already discussed about the formal definition. No. Earlier, in earlier times or in earlier days, we had a definition of psychology as the study of mind or soul. And for most of the terms, we learn Latin origin, Greek origin, so and so, right? We split the words into this and that. We take inspiration from Greek words, Latin words, Roman words, all those things. And then we split the words and find the meaning, literal meaning of those words. And then based on those meanings, we try to define things. Similarly, psychology also had such an informal definition earlier. Please note down. It was divided into two words and it's based on Greek. It has Greek origin. It's psyche or psyche. And the other word is logos.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you please repeat it?
Yeah, psyche. It's on the board. Psyche. It's called psyche or psyche and logos. This was considered as the origin of psychology, the term psychology. And any idea what psyche or psyche means? The literal meaning was soul. Soul. And logos means the study of something. It means study of a subject or science. It can also mean science or study of a subject. If you don't understand my handwriting, please let me know. I'll read out the spelling. Study of a subject. Okay. So before this formal definition that we just learned, before that definition even came up, the people who were intrigued about the term psychology, or who were curious about the subject of psychology, who wanted to know more about the psychology field, they were taught that this is the meaning or this is the definition of psychology. So if psych means soul and logos means science or study of a subject, what would psychology mean then?
Study of soul.
Study of the soul.
Study of the soul, study of soul or mind. So generally when we ask to common people or common man, or we can say a layperson term or layperson definition, then people say that psychology is a study of mind or soul. But now you all know the formal or the proper definition, isn't it? What three things does it deal with?
Mental processes, behavior, and experiences.
Yes,
under different
exactly.
context.
Mental processes, behaviors, and experiences. So it not only deals with these three key concepts, but it is considered in different situations or different concepts also. So whenever people tell you or they argue with you that psychology is a study of soul or mind, correct them and boast about yourself that you know the correct definition of psychology. Okay, so definition is crystal clear, right?
Yes,
The
sir.
three key concepts along with different contexts, and don't forget to mention the word formal definition. Fine. Now, I think in the first class or the second class, I told you we'll do a postmortem on this definition. We'll pick each part and then study more about it. So the three key concepts again. Which are they?
Behavior, processes,
What
experience,
processes?
mental processes,
Yes, mental processes. First, we'll learn about mental processes. Then,
behavior,
hmm?
mental behavior,
Experience.
Experiences. And behaviors. This is we. Okay. Fine. Mental processes, experiences, and behaviors. What comes to your mind when you hear the term mental processes? We'll discuss what we know, and then I'll add into that information. That's how we learn.
Ma'am, what goes on in our mind?
What goes on in our mind? Yes. Yes, Anam? You're about to tell me something?
No.
No. Okay. Then,
thoughts,
thoughts,
It's about mental ability.
mental abilities, yes. Mental processes. What all are the mental processes? Right now, you're engaging in a certain mental process. What is it?
Learning.
comprehending,
Learning is a
Attend-
part of mental process. What is it?
Attend in the class.
Attend in the class. Attention. Yes.
Consciousness.
Consciousness. Yes.
Ma'am, analyzing.
Analyzing. Yeah.
comprehending,
Huh?
comprehending,
Comprehension. Yes. Comprehension in the sense psychologically we say it is perception. Perception is a process through which we interpret things, through which we give meaning to a certain thing. I don't know if you remember, I told you about perception in the last class. Like you're hearing my voice, you can sense it, that is sensation. And when you can relate to that, and when you can give a label that it is your teacher's voice, or you can recognize it as my voice, then that is perception. Okay. Yes. Then what else? What else would come under mental process?
Recollecting.
Recollecting, yeah, part of memory. Right now you're doing something. So I have asked you a question, no? And you're trying to find an answer. Suppose if this was mathematics class, teacher would give you a problem and you're trying to find an answer. What do you call that?
Solving.
Problem solving. Yes. Then, Eva, when did you wake up today?
Ma'am, today I'm in Dubai, so I woke up at 7:30.
Oh, yes. That will lead to confusion. Whoever is in India, please raise your hand. Alina, when did you wake up today? 5 minutes before the class?
No, 8:30.
8:30. Okay. And did you feel like sleeping more? Tell me. We
Yes,
are
ma'am.
discussing things. Yes, of course we will. Even I felt so. And why did you wake up even though you felt sleepy?
Due to class.
Due to class. So you prioritized your class more than your sleep. Yes. So what she did was she made a decision to attend the class than to sleep, isn't it? So that is also one of the mental processes, decision making. We call it decision making. Okay. Now, you already know the definition of psychology now, the formal definition. You know your gender, you know your name, you know a lot of things, isn't it? How old are you, Shreya?
16.
16. Okay. And over these years, you have learned about so many things, and your pool of knowledge has so many different elements in it, isn't it? Yes. You know about a variety of things in life. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Why are you not confident about that? Okay. Yeah. So knowing something, that is also one of the mental process. Understood? So mental process, that term itself has so many things coming under it. Remember on the first day of the class, we discussed about how difficult it is to define something because of the range of phenomena that it deals with. So we cannot include decision making, problem solving, knowing, thinking, and all those things in this definition, right? It will take pages and pages to complete this definition then. That's why we are putting all that under one category or under one term, that is mental processes. So when you talk about consciousness, awareness, you're talking about the mental processes involved. Right now, are you aware? Are you in an alert state of awareness?
Yes.
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
are you
Yes,
opening
ma'am.
your eyes and sleeping? Okay, I heard from you that you are listening to the class. You are aware right now. You could answer my question, no? So that itself shows that you're aware. You're in an alert or aware state of consciousness, in an alert state of awareness. Again, you are engaging in a particular mental process right now. I hope you can understand that, isn't it? Yes, okay. Now, coming to experiences. Now, the most important question that I want to ask about experiences. Are all our experiences the same?
Of different experiences.
Different experiences. Okay. So, another question. Can two people have the same experience? Exact same experience?
No, ma'am.
No.
No. Why?
Ma'am, because the different people perceive different things differently.
Yes.
Different people have different situations.
Yes, very good. Then
People have different perspective of viewing things.
yes. Then come on, come on. Different, 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 different. Come on. All these you know. See, whatever we are learning in psychology, you know it, but we are giving it new names. That's the only thing we are doing. And the only effort you have to put in is to learn these names and try to relate with the things that you already know. All right. Yes. So give me, give me. I need more input from you. Why do you think two people cannot experience or cannot have the exact same experiences? Why is Omar silent today? Are you sleeping, Omar?
No, ma'am.
Okay. He is in an alert state of awareness. Hmm. Come on. I hope you guys are thinking.
People have different attitude towards the situation they overcome or they have in
Yes.
their life.
Yes, that is true. Right now, you all are attending to the same class, isn't it? You're listening to the same person, to the same voice. But I can assure that 19 of you are having 19 different experiences because you understand the thing in different ways, you comprehend it in different ways, you have different states of awareness and alert, that vigilant feeling. And you might be having different environmental factors. For some of you there might be some noise in between that is coming from your surroundings. Some of you might be sitting in a very quiet surrounding. Some of you might be thinking about something else in between. Some of you might be thinking or getting bored maybe. And some of you might be very curious in the class. Some of you might be never mind, that kind of attitude, isn't it? Yes. Yes. Okay. So the experiences, all our experiences, whichever experiences we have in life, they are subjective in nature. You know what subjective and objective is? Yeah, subjective means it will be specific to a particular person. Like the experience that Devika is having now is subjective to her, which means it's personal. It's her personal matter. And it would be entirely different from what Meryl is experiencing right now, isn't it? Because of various other factors which you told. Can we discuss about the factors that are affecting our experiences? A few points you already told: attitude, then the situations, and so and so. Can you add more points to it? Which are the factors that affects a person's experiences?
Concentration,
Concentration, yes. Then
state of mind,
state of mind. Abhinav, are you going to tell me something? No, just lean forward, that's all. Okay, then.
ma'am. Does physical attributes include?
Physical attributes included, yes. Suppose you are not well today. Some of you are not feeling well today. Your health is not proper, or you have body pain, you have this and that health issues and all. And again, that will affect your experience in the class, isn't it? You might feel like taking rest, and you might even come to class just for the sake of attendance, or just because you don't want to get scolded by the senior coordinator. Yes, yes, people do that. Then, I'll ask you something. Just look at the board. This is there on the floor. Again, I'm not so good at drawing, so just Pardon me for that. Okay. Imagine this is drawn on the floor. Okay. And who would like to volunteer?
Ma'am.
Abdul. Okay. You want to take the left side or the right side? Mine, my left side or the right side?
Left side.
Left side. Okay. So Abdul is standing here. Okay. One more volunteer.
Ma'am, I come.
Kevin. Yes. So Kevin is standing here. Sorry, you don't have any option, but you have to choose the right side. Yes. So Abdul, if you're standing this side and if you're looking from this perspective, what can you see on the floor?
9.
9. Obviously 9. That's evident, right? And Kevin? Poor fellow. He doesn't have an option again. What is it?
Ma'am, 6.
Yeah, probably 6. Yes. Now, this person will argue that he always sees a 9. And this person will argue that he always sees a 6 here. That is because of their perspectives. Now, when we are judging something or when we are analyzing something, as psychology students, and if you're hoping to take up psychology in future also, and as good human beings, we have to take this point. The guy looks weird. Anyways, yeah. Why am I telling you to take this perspective?
Because at this perspective, you can understand both the people's side.
Exactly. We can understand both the perspectives. That is, when we can see from this perspective, we can understand that there can be a 9 comprehension for this as well as a 6 comprehension for this. Isn't it? So we can think or we can view a particular concept or particular person, an individual or any situation or any experience from multiple perspectives. That is very important in psychology. And that happens with the experience also. This person's experience is different from this case experience, isn't it? Yes, but we can, just because we know that we have to look from different perspectives, we know that there is a different perspective for this, whatever A and K is telling. Understood? Yes. So our experiences in total, whatever points we discussed, they are affected by mainly 2 factors. Can you categorize them into 2?
Ma'am,
Can you repeat?
perspective.
Huh? Gibberish.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, I'll repeat the question. And before that, I would like to add on some more points to the factors that affect our experiences. For example, personality. Personality of a person or an individual that affects our experience, isn't it? Yes. Then climatic changes that affects our experiences. Then the people around you, the society that affects your experience. Then what else? The biological factors inside you, hormonal changes, neurotransmitter changes, imbalances, all that can affect you. Then your family background that can influence your environment, sorry, your experiences. And that is why the highlight of this thing is experiences are subjective in nature, which means it is personal to each individual. Each individual's experience is different in nature. Okay. And the question was, can you categorize all these factors into 2 categories, into 2 classifications? Whatever factors we discussed right now, can you put them into just two bowls?
Ma'am, perspective.
And the other one would be? Okay, we'll make it easier. Tell me all the set of factors. Personality, that was my point. Where is the stylus? personality. And I told about climate, climatic factors. Then what were your inputs? Attitude, current situation. And I told about family backgrounds, your economical backgrounds that can affect, no? Economical backgrounds, a financial background. Then what else? What else?
Biological.
Biological. Then the
Physical.
physical, related to biological itself. I told about the noises or the disturbances around you. Then the inner health condition.
Ma'am,
Then,
what about their previous experiences?
yes, exactly. Previous experience, past. Past can affect you or influence you.
Thoughts.
Hmm?
Thoughts.
Thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts. Finished. Okay, now can you put them, if I am giving you 2 tables or 2 bowls, then can you divide them into group 1 and 2?
Yes.
Yes.
It can be categorized into two, where one is that happens in our body, and the other happens around us.
Exactly. So that would be, what would you call that? What is the term given to
Internal
something?
and external.
Exactly. Internal factors and external factors. So experiences are always influenced by 2 set of factors. What are they? Internal factors and external factors. Understood? Yes. So anytime, whenever you take any situation, our experiences are affected by 2 set of factors, internal factors and external factors. We'll take one example given in the textbook. Suppose it's related to something given in your textbook. Suppose if you're traveling by bus. How many of you like to travel sitting in the window seat? Okay. And how many of you would enjoy a rainy day? Again, the same situation. Window seat plus rain. Okay. Unfortunately, our Paripavada is not there. So that's cancelled. Rain and window seat. Okay. And you are traveling. Just imagine 2 situations. One situation is there are very less people on board. And this is not post-corona or during the corona season. Okay, it's pre-corona season. All right. So there are no much people on board, and you're sitting on the window seat. Very peaceful and calm atmosphere. You're enjoying the rain. That is one situation. Imagine yourself there. Okay. Another day, you're sitting on the same seat, but it's too crowded and it's a very sunny day, very hot and sunny. Will the experience be same?
No, ma'am.
No. Why? What are the factors that are different in both the situations?
There are different types. One day is like rainy and less crowds, and the other day is like full crowds and it's a sunny day.
Yes.
So it might be a different perspective for the person.
Yes. So which factor is differing in both the situation? Internal or external?
External.
External. Mainly the external. And that might influence our internal experience, of course. But the main factor that is varying in both the situations is the external factors. That is the climate, isn't it? The climatic condition or the weather conditions are changing in both the situation. That is affecting our experience. Even though I am the same person in the both situation, even though I am sitting on the same seat, even though I like enjoying sitting on window seat, I am being influenced, or my experience is being influenced by the climatic factor, which is the external factor here in this situation. Understood? Now, again, the same example, just to explain the internal factors influence. Imagine yourself again on the same seat, in the same bus, okay? And on one fine day, you are very happy because you met your best friend after a very long time, okay? And you're very happy, very much happy, very much elated and all. And then in another situation, you lost a loved one. That is the next situation. And again, obviously, will the situation be same? Will the experience be same?
No.
Obviously not. Why? Because our internal states are different. Isn't it? Yes? That is clear? Okay. Now, whatever you have to remember about experiences is that most important point, experiences are subjective in nature. Okay. And the second point is that they are affected by internal and external factors. And by now you must be capable of explaining it in terms of daily life examples, isn't it? How they are, how our experiences are subjective, how they are affected by internal and external factors. You can write an example of your own by now, isn't it? Yeah, I hope so. Amal Roshan, clear?
So,
yes, very good. Okay, so we have finished with the first point. That is what was the first key concept in our definition?
Mental processes.
Mental processes. And we discussed the examples also. Knowing, thinking, then problem solving, decision making. What else is given here? Learning is given, remembering. Then if you want, please write down these examples for those who don't have the textbook. For those who have it, it's there in page number 3. The left side section, last line. Mental processes such as remembering, learning, knowing, perceiving, feeling are of interest to psychologists. Okay. And then we also learned about our experiences. Experiences are subjective in nature. Experiences are affected by 2 main category of factors. That is internal factors as well as external factors. Simple, right? Yes. Okay. And if you don't understand a concept, ask me then and there. Or if you have a problem in asking in the class, personally contact me.
Okay. Page number 3, right?
Page number 3, yes. You didn't find it? Abhiram?
Found it.
Okay. Now, do we have time to discuss the behaviors? Till what time is the class?
11:50.
11:50. Okay, we have plenty of time. So the next one is behaviors. Write down behaviors. And I think behaviors are also common, no? We have heard that term plenty of times. So you would be able to explain that to me, what behaviors really are. Tell me, what is a behavior?
It's how a person acts.
How a person acts. Okay.
Attitude.
Attitude, not exactly. Attitude is something else.
It could vary at times. You can just hear how you behave to a certain person.
Yeah, you're telling that behavior varies depending on the person and the situation. Yes.
Behavior is a sign of a person.
Sign of a person means?
This person, how to behave with other people.
Are you telling that each person has his or her own behavior? Yes. Okay. Yes, that's good. That's right. Then.
Response. Behavior changes according to a person's experiences.
behavior changes according to the person's experiences. I'll come back to that point just a minute. Let's hear from Abhiram and Alina. Yes.
Once one person's behavior affects their personality.
Behavior affects personality.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Alina.
Responses.
Responses of people. That is called behavior.
How they respond
to a situation or something. Okay, how they respond, that is called behavior. That's what Alina is telling us. Okay, Devika, you told me that it is affected by your experiences, isn't it? Yes? Yes. So what do you think? Is it affected by our mental processes?
Yes.
Are our behaviors affected by
internal? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It can be either because of the internal factors or external factors that our mood changes constantly.
Yes, exactly. So did you notice one thing, that the three key concepts in our definition, all of them are interrelated to each other?
Yes.
Yes,
Because, yes, exactly. The mental processes can affect our experiences and our behaviors. Our experiences can affect our behaviors and mental processes. Our behaviors can in turn affect our thought processes, our mental processes plus experiences. So they are going in a circle. They are interrelated to each other. It's a triangle love story there. Okay. They are interrelated to each other. They are sharing relationship with each other. Understood? Yes. So it is very difficult to explain one key concept without the other, because they are again interrelated to each other. Yes. So behaviors, as you told me, all those points, confining all those to the definition, I'll read out the point. Behaviors are responses or reactions we make. If you want, note down. Behaviors are responses or reactions we make, or or activities we engage in, This is one of the most important and most common 1-mark question asked in exams, in main exams. So put a star or something and keep.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, I'll repeat. Behaviors are responses or reactions. Behaviors are responses or reactions we make. Behaviors are responses or reactions we make, or activities we engage in, Behaviors are responses or reactions we make, or activities we engage in. Finish writing? Yes. And two new terms. Have you heard of overt and covert? Overt and covert. Write on the board. Overt and covert. Have you heard of these?
I've heard them before, but I don't know what they mean.
Okay, fine. So overt means something that is observable. That is, you can see me moving my hands right now, isn't it? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I can see Abhinav nodding. So that is, I'm observing that. Yes? I just saw Rose cough now. Yes? That is overt because I can observe it. I can see some of you blinking your eyes. I can observe it. I can see it. That is observable. So that is overt behavior. Okay, behavior are of two types. It can be overt or covert. Overt or covert. Overt is something that we can observe. So what would be covert?
Something you can't observe.
Not observe.
Yes, something that you cannot observe. And Bazuri, my dear, I did not hear from you. Hello. Last day you had some network issue. I think we were not able to speak. Can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to follow?
Yes.
Okay. We'll talk more in the class, okay? Yes. So overt means the behaviors. Overt behavior. Overt behavior means the behaviors which we can observe in others, which is observable. Okay. Mainly our actions, most of our actions. Then, so what could be an example of covert behaviors? Covert behaviors. How many of you have social anxiety? Social anxiety means the anxiety you have, or the anxious feeling, the tense feeling when you have when you are in front of a group of people.
I've experienced that.
Eva, okay.
Ma'am, I don't know why others people are afraid the other people. I don't know why.
You don't know, which means you don't have social anxiety, Amal. Yes, okay,
We
very
should
good.
talk to other people.
Yes, exactly. We should. Not too much, but.
But ma'am, there are introverts and all, so.
Yes,
can't really
depends
do
on the
anything.
personality, yes. How many of you have experienced social anxiety then? Tell me that.
Me.
One time in life. Yes, Abhinav, Omar. Rest of you, you're
No, ma'am,
experts in presenting.
No, ma'am, even me.
No. Then raise your hand. At least one time if you experienced social anxiety. Anila is confident. Anila has not experienced it yet?
Oh, yeah.
No.
No.
No, you're usually very comfortable with social groups. You're very good at presenting, public speaking.
No problem.
No problem. Okay. I am not creating any problem. Okay. Anyways, so when, what are the symptoms you feel? Oh my God. Lower your hands, please.
Anxiety.
Anxiety. Yes. What do you feel on your body?
This weird sensation around the chest.
Weird sensation around the chest. Yes. Butterflies in the tummy.
I start sweating.
You start sweating. Okay.
Stuttering.
Then? Huh?
Stuttering.
Stuttering. Okay.
Heartbeat rises.
Clash again.
Heartbeat rises.
Huh? Heartbeat rises. Yes, yes. Omar, what did you say?
Oh, like in thought processing, you start overthinking.
Overthinking. Yes. Kevin?
Weak knees.
Weak knees. Yes. Shivering. Shivering. Yes. Can you observe someone shivering when they stand for a speech?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So is that covert or overt?
Overt.
O or C? Tell me that. I cannot. Oh, okay, fine. Can you pick out any one symptom that you feel when you're socially anxious? That is covert behavior.
The feeling to run away.
Overthinking.
Overthinking, yes. Some of the thoughts come under covert behaviors. And again, muscle twitching. Your cheeks feel like twitching too much. Have you felt that? Muscle twitching. At least some of you might have felt. I have felt so.
Yes, ma'am.
I think on the first day of our class, I felt so. And I told you that I feel very nervous. I don't know why. Remember?
Yes.
Yes. And did I have a very weird expression? I didn't even look at my face. Okay. Anyways, muscle twitching. That's one of the covert what do you call? Covert?
Behavior.
Lots of words. Yes. Covert behavior. And you can write that as an example. Muscle twitching.
Ma'am?
When you're... Yes.
Ma'am, isn't muscle twitching visible?
Muscle twitching is not always visible because like right now, not right now, but few minutes before I had this. Did you observe that on my face?
No, ma'am.
No, that is the thing. Because we feel our muscles are very much contracted and we'll burst out now. But it depends on us whether we cover for it. Understood? Yeah. So, and when you go for a competition and all, you become nervous. The one example given here is, difficult situation while playing a game of chess. You almost feel your hand muscles twitching when you're about to make an important move in a very important chess competition. Then again, others might not notice it. It's not necessary that the other people notice or observe it, but we can feel it. That is covert behavior. So you just have to understand overt means observable. Relate and learn. Overt means observable behaviors. Covert means
Not observable.
behaviors which are not observable, which means internal or personal to the person.
Ma'am, does heartbeat raising is a covert or
Heartbeat is kind of, yes, covert again. Because we cannot pull out the heart and see how it is beating, isn't it? Yeah. But we can feel it. The person who is experiencing it can feel it. That is again covert. Okay. So it's almost time. There is a little bit more to talk about behaviors. I think we have one more today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Discuss it then. Is it clear till now? The 3
Yes,
points?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your understanding of the
12.
topic?
15.
You guys are very weak in maths then. We have a maths teacher here. Should I call her?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Fine, we'll meet in the next hour then. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,